Battalion 1 on a shooting, 9 George 2, Century Theaters, 14300 East Alameda Avenue. Engine 8, Battalion 1 on a shooting, Century Theaters, 14300 East Alameda Avenue. Respond on TAC 2.
My name is Joshua Torres. I'm an EMT for the fire department of New York City. I was a young kid, well, not a young kid, young adult. I want to say 19, 20 years old. I didn't know where I was going so much in just my life, my career. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was still pretty young. And I knew I wanted to help people in some way. And I was, used to being outside and, just kind of being outdoors. So I kind of put two things together, which was, the interest I had in the medical field and me just dealing with an outside field. I used to see ambulances always driving by my neighborhood or up and down the street. I thought it'd be fun. And I thought about it, I looked into it, and it was very intriguing, and yeah, picked it as my life career.
My name is Keren Torres. I am a teacher's assistant for the UPK, and I am the wife of Joshua Torres. I first met Josh when he was coming out of the academy, and we used to be the type of couple that would like to be in different places. He loved to showing me different places in Brooklyn because that's where he's from. As dating, we also got engaged, and then we got married, and that's when I learned different stages of his job. I learned more about how time consuming it was. Some days I wouldn't talk to him the whole entire day. I would talk to him to the next day because he was just so busy with a lot of calls.
It was, I want to say, about 12 jobs a day and an 8-hour tour we had, so it was overwhelming is kind of an understatement.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know. A Washington state resident fell ill after returning from Wuhan, China, where the outbreak began. Officials now say more than 400 people have been sickened and 9 people have died.
The pandemic, it brought a lot of not knowing at first because there was a lot of stories and too much things happening in the news and a lot of people's opinions of how it was serious and it wasn't serious. But then when I noticed, I remember receiving when the governor said that, the schools would be shut down and no one was allowed to go except the essential workers. And when I realized my husband would be an essential worker and that he would be out there in the streets, it brought a lot of fear, a lot of depression and anxiety and worry because, not knowing what's going to happen to him and to my family.
At the height of the pandemic, we were getting more information of how the virus works, how to operate the way we would normally, but under these conditions, with people's apartments or houses being hot zones. You're getting a call for someone who is sick with a fever, they have a cough, and you see it in the text as it shows on the computer, COVID positive. So disinfecting everything. I mean, I must have went through probably countless uniforms. I can't even count how many uniforms I would go to in a week. We wound up going out of service because we had no uniforms. And that was kind of where we noticed where this pandemic wasn't going to take any slowing down, and we didn't know when it was going to stop. My wife was there for me. She was able to comfort me and, push me on, understanding that I was a first responder, and her being able to talk to me and explain to me how, hey, listen, this is your job. I know what you signed up for, so you can feel comfortable knowing that I support you, and, I'm praying for you.
As him being the essential worker working during the pandemic, it brought a lot of fear, but not enough fear for me to show him because I wanted him to feel encouraged. I wanted him to feel like he was doing the right thing because I know he had to be out there to save people's lives. And we communicated with each other during this whole time where I could better understand the pandemic and also understand his work stress.
But the overall number one goal that I found was I was looking forward to every day was just kind of just connecting with God. Certain times I would open up my Bible at work and just read a passage, or I would pray, and I would come home and do Zoom meetings with my youth and all the young kids from church, and just seeing where they were, throughout the midst of the pandemic, and seeing how they too were holding on to God. It just showed to me that, we're all going through this pandemic together on a global scale, but we're also clinging on to the number one thing that's going to get us through it, which is God.